flipping back the calendar to highlight yesteryear's finest while exploring the vast archives in cinema history. This is the Movie Review Rewind podcast on Nashville Movie Dispatch.
Welcome back for another episode of the Movie Review Rewind podcast right here on Nashville Movie Dispatch. I'll be your host for the show, the EIC at Sobros Network. You can follow me on social media at Stoney Keeley, wherever you consume your social media. And check out all of our work at nashvillemoviedispatch.substack.com. I'm joined, as usual, by my co-host on Movie Review Rewind. He is a board member of the Music City Film Critics Association. He is a member of the Southeastern Film Critics Association. He's our resident film critic here on Nashville Movie Dispatch, Mr. Big Shot himself, Brandon Vick. Brandon, how you doing today, my man?
It's good, man.
Summer's around the corner.
It's getting hot.
I've mowed my yard a few times at this point in the season, but I can tell you, Brandon, there's one tradition in my household this time of year, every year, and it is sitting down to watch the movie we're going to talk about today, 2011's Midnight in Paris.
What month is it?
It's May.
Oh, okay,
It's
May. Yeah,
So we're mowing the yard.
I like to watch Pearl Harbor.
Is that your feel-good summer movie?
Can we do that one?
Yeah. Hey, we could. I don't know that I've ever seen Pearl Harbor all the way through.
With Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett?
And
Michael Bay?
I have.
Oh
I don't think I have.
I
If
saw
I
it in
have
theaters.
seen it, I saw it when it first came out.
Do you know
when
what it's
I was
about?
A teenager.
You know how it goes?
I feel like I can make a pretty good guess as to what it's about.
Yeah, things happen.
Yeah.
Things happen out in the oceans. But yeah, no, I have not watched this film in quite a while. And I actually would say I liked it better than I remember just because it really sweeps you off your feet with its charm. And I think everyone can agree. I don't think there's been any controversy with the director.
Well,
writer.
I was going to ask you about Woody Allen because this I have a tough time reconciling with this film because it is one of my favorites, which is kind of the point of this the last couple of months worth of Movie Review Rewind episodes.
Yeah.
We talked about one of your favorites in There Will Be Blood last month.
Yep.
Midnight in Paris. I told you this is the last film to do for my top 4 on Letterboxd to be covered on Movie Review Rewind. Because we've done an episode on Dead Poet Society. We did one on The Departed.
Oh, yeah.
We did one on Sideways. Mm-hmm. And now we're doing one on Midnight in Paris.
We've done some,
I don't remember what your top 4 is, but I think we've done all of them as well. No, we never did Drive. We never did an episode on Drive.
I think it's Gladiator.
And we did a Drinking With on Gladiator.
Well, I think, Gladiator, Departed. It might be Gladiator, Departed, There Will Be Blood, and No Country for Old Men.
Well, if that's the case, then yeah, we do have podcasts all over. But
that's correct. Gladiator, No Country, There Will Be Blood, and Departed.
So now we've completed
this is
all
it.
8.
This is
all
it.
8. We've got podcasts on them. But
anyway, about Woody Allen, what is that?
I have a tough time reconciling with this, and this is actually something I wrote about for Nashville Movie Dispatch.
Yes, you did.
It's up there a couple of months ago. It's kind of like the whole separate the art from the artist conversation.
Yeah, I know.
And I do think it's important to do that in certain situations, but
I do too.
What do you do in a case like this where this is one of my favorite movies? I watch this movie probably more than any other movie. And I never get tired of it. Every time I watch it, I feel like I find some new quip that makes me chuckle, that I hold on to. It speaks to me the same way. I would equate it to, like if you're looking to adopt a dog and you go through the shelter and you're looking in the cages and you hear these stories about these animals that you just lock eyes with them and it's like they choose you and you just feel that instant connection.
And you have no other choice.
I feel that connection with this movie.
This is a dog you're gonna adopt.
Yeah, but then you think about Woody Allen, and I mean, to be clear, this is a difficult conversation to navigate. but it's like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that was alleged about him. Still has his defenders, but by and
Diane
large,
Keaton until her dying day said she would work with him again and stuff. So yeah,
by and large, run out of Hollywood. He's making movies over in France, if I'm not mistaken. At this point,
definitely overseas. Yeah,
and it's just been, you know, it's been the shutout treatment. He's just gone. We don't talk about him anymore. But what am I supposed to do when I enjoy Midnight in Paris so much? Am I just supposed to not watch it? Like,
no, I don't think.
How do you reconcile with the Woody Allen of it all?
Here's the thing. I think in film there is this battle because
there's a lot of shitty people making movies.
Do you not watch Annie Hall because of this? Do you not watch Manhattan because of this?
Well, see, that's where I think there's nuance with the Woody Allen conversation, because he's not in Midnight in Paris, and it doesn't give you like creepy vibes the way you
when you see him on screen. It's more alarming than if it's true.
But even the humor back then, watching Annie Hall in Manhattan is like this sex crazed, sex pest, creepy kind of dude that, like, I can appreciate those movies for the execution, the talent, all that stuff. But it still gives me the creeps watching them.
I do think
thinking about what would be said about Woody Allen later.
I think you can watch these films and appreciate them for what they are, but also there is this flood of new perspective because of what you know about the man behind the camera and in front of the camera. So I think there's something to it. And honestly, I kind of have run into this with Michael Jackson. I can't really listen to his songs anymore. Yeah. Because I just can't get behind it. And there's a movie out that came out in April, Antoine Fuqua, and I think is it Michael Jackson's nephew or something that plays him. Yeah. And I just chose not to see it in theaters because I just But that's it's a bit of ick.
To your point, like in that scenario, like you're hearing Michael Jackson directly.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about a filmmaker who's not on screen, it makes things a little more complicated.
It does.
Because, like, you know, in the back of your mind, well, he's accused of being a pretty creepy guy.
No matter what the story is, I think there's some truth to it all.
Yeah.
And I think, but here's the thing: I think what you're kind of referencing is that I think some of this is shown in his work. Yeah. Even though the pieces may not fit together, then I think there's a whole new approach to seeing it. Like, oh, I think I do maybe see where it's coming from.
When's the last time you watched Annie Hall?
I have not seen it all the way through, and I haven't seen Manhattan all the way through.
Manhattan, I could get down with more because of it's black and white, like his vision of New York City. It just like
that's what he's known for is the New Yorker in him.
I'm a fan of New York City. I like visiting. My wife and I we've been up there every Christmas the last couple of years, and I love it up there. But it's really hard to get past some of the jokes and some of the dialogue between he and the female characters in that movie. Well, I would be very curious for you to go back and watch Annie Hall specifically. Was like at times during that movie, I was like, I don't think I can stomach this.
Well, I mean, and that's probably true, and there's no way I can watch it now without not thinking about that. But you know what's weird is I kind of have enjoyed his others. Like I love Match Point and Cassandra's Dream, his kind of thriller type movies. I remember Hollywood Endings being kind of fun. I don't think I've ever really like been a big fan of Woody Allen, but maybe some of it speaks to where I haven't probably seen is what I think many would call his most famous.
Sure. Curse of the Jade Scorpion.
Yeah, I have seen that one, and that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. I didn't hate it.
When I was trying to go back after realizing, I liked Midnight in Paris a lot, and then A Rainy Day in New York was the second Woody Allen movie
I never watched it all the way through because that's when things started, when shit hit the fan. Because a documentary came out that Mia Farrow, Ronan Farrow, everybody came in, and it was kind of like that Finding Neverland about Michael Jackson, where they
I never watched the documentary.
with honesty and bravery, which I don't know why people would ever make some of this shit up.
Yeah.
It always makes sense on why Woody Allen and his wife, who was actually his stepdaughter at first, would make stuff up because there's an image. But for them, I never understood why they would go to these lengths to just make up stuff, which is what it all leads to. And Finding Neverland's the same thing. But A Rainy Day in New York was kind of the first one that kind of got hit, where people started saying, I'm not going to work with them. I'm going to donate my salary to other things. And then he's made movies, but it's never been, obviously. I think he's made 3 or 4 more movies, but nobody knows what they are.
Yeah.
Midnight in Paris was his last heyday of Oscar stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And obviously people are okay with it, which also kind of speaks to the phoniness of Hollywood, where it was okay to work with him all the way up until this, and not like shit hasn't been said about him for decades.
Well, there were. I wish I could.
Undertaker's here.
Okay, we brought the pizza inside. All's well that ends well. To continue that point, like there were people, and I wish, because I read about this. What is? Okay, well, we are back for real this time after apparently the DoorDash driver pulled her front bumper out in our driveway.
Bless her heart.
It looked like she was able to secure it and drive off.
She's
so
left. She is gone off the premises.
It has been quite the last few minutes here on Movie Review Rewind, between the doorbell ringing and then this happening. But I wish I read about this stuff quite a while ago, because I watched Manhattan and Annie Hall back in November, and that's when I kind of wanted to start reading more about, like, oh, what exactly was Woody Allen accused of, and what happened there? Yeah. And I remember, gosh, I don't want to misspeak and say the wrong name, but there were actors that came out, to your point, that defended him right away. Like, no, I'm going to keep working with him.
And Diane Keaton, I think, is probably the big one, because she's been associated with some of his most famous works.
But then, years later, they would come out and say, oh, well, yeah, it's too much. I'm not going to work with him anymore.
I think Timothy Chalamet donated his salary to something.
He might have, but it
I think
speaks to
Javier
that.
Bardem, Victoria Cristina Barcelona.
Yeah, Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Yeah.
But yeah, to that point, it's almost like the gut reaction was, no, not the Woody Allen I know. But then over time, it's like, oh, well, we can't work with him. I can't face the backlash, so I better say publicly I'm not going to work with him.
Right.
And it is like, I don't know. I do think there's a phony quality to that.
I agree. But I think with the films he's done since Rainy Day in New York, you can kind of tell that people, for whatever reason, have stayed away.
Yeah.
It's toxic.
Yeah. So it's definitely something to reconcile, but to get back to Midnight in Paris, man, this movie, it's just, you talk about the angst of a struggling writer. And I think this is some of Owen Wilson's best work, if not his best work.
I agree.
It's an interesting meditation on how that sort of uncertainty with where you are in life and who you're with can clog up your efforts at happiness and understanding your true self. I think we see, like, Gil is looking to his idols for answers. And they're showing him that the life he wants lies outside the confines of the life that he has. So you said this was quite a charming film. I think it's fun. But I think the metaphor is quite deep, that, like, it may not be literal. Because one of the things that I like about this movie is that Gil Pinder goes out past Midnight in Paris, and he goes back in time to the 20s.
It's very fantastical.
And F. Scott Fitzgerald is there. Hemingway is there. Gertrude Stein. Picasso. At one point, he comes across Dolly, who is played by Adrian Brody. T.S. Eliot. Yeah, like all of the literary giants of the era are there. That could just be a metaphor, Like it could just be him, Gil, sitting in his hotel room reading Hemingway and just imagining a lot of this, reading F. Scott Fitzgerald and kind of manifesting this stuff. But I think one of the things I like about it is that we never really learn what's actually happening there.
No, but I don't think you have to. I think it's just kind of living in this fantasy land that you're okay with, you've accepted. And it's definitely a writer's mindset.
Yeah.
Because he's already kind of a Hollywood, I forgot the term he used.
Hack.
Yeah. And so what is this novel really about? What is it? Everybody, there's all this self-importance to it, but what is it really? And then you're meeting some of the most literary giants of all time. But look how they've done it. And look how, like, within their time, and that's his golden age. And, I was telling you, like, that kind of last little bit of Gil talking to Marion Cotillard's and talking about how she's not impressed by it, but she doesn't know. She's not living in the 20s, whatever. Yeah. So
it's kind of the aha moment for Gil.
It is. It definitely is. And I love that it obviously is intentionally saved for that moment, because that's kind of the last time he's in that era, in that time frame. But it says a lot about, I think, the creativity of an individual. I feel like kind of the scariness of, or kind of like the building on this self-importance of that this will be the literary, masterpiece of it. And then you're talking to people that didn't know it at the time that would become these literary icons. And so, but also, I'll be honest, and it's nice to kind of be thrown back to that era, but it's also like, if I didn't know any better, I would think Paris is the most beautiful. Enjoying romantic place to ever go. And you could tell Alan does a lot. I'd say the first 5 minutes is just showing you a Paris.
Oh yeah, I had a note in it about the opening scene, like the music and scenery around Paris, the yellow golden hue over the shots, which is actually
some of those little cafes. It's not just like, the.
If you pay attention, it's like one of my favorite things about this film is that, I don't know if you caught this or not, but like even in like the daytime reality scenes where he's with Inez, I think is her name, Rachel McAdams' character. Mm-hmm. I get the two mixed up sometimes, but like even when you're with them, the film kind of has, like the dinner scenes and stuff, a yellow tint to it the whole time. And to me, it's kind of like the golden age is a big theme.
Things
in this
really
film.
Come to life.
And it's like quite literal, which I think is a nice touch on this movie, is like everything kind of has this gold hue over it. Yeah. But just like that opening scene, like life going by everywhere, and you're just kind of a bystander observing it. It feels like this peaceful moment of reflection of what a day in Paris is really like. And it kind of sets, like with the song choice too, it kind of sets you up for, okay, this is what this movie is going to be.
You're in it by the time you meet the characters. But also when you watch that, did you notice, I can spot out the tourists. Instantly. There's one guy that's like this big orange shirt, collared shirt, knee-high socks with New Balance. I'm like, he's American. I'm sure he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can instantly tell who's just visiting.
Do you think you would like Paris?
I think so. I have heard that they're not that kind to Americans.
Yeah, I don't think they...
But I have heard it's beautiful. My mother-in-law and her husband just recently went, and they had a great time. Mm-hmm. I think I would kind of like to see London first.
Yeah.
But I think I could spend a couple days there.
I I never had much of a desire to go to France
until
I saw this
exactly.
movie. Yeah.
And I think it really does a lot to kind of set the scene, the atmosphere of it, and it's really hard not to kind of get caught up in it all and kind of be swept off your feet just by location alone.
I think I'm an artful person and I can be quite pretentious sometimes.
But
So
you notice, like,
I
even
would
like
fit
the
right in.
bookstores and the cafes they have, it's
Well, they take you to the spot where Monet painted.
yeah.
And they show it. Like
Yeah.
it feels like a very I don't know, man. Like I love the story here. I love the metaphor because I think Gil I think the whole going back in time past midnight thing is that metaphor for this is a guy that's in denial of what's happening in his life.
Not just with his writing, but with
with
everything,
yeah,
with his marriage.
And there's that aha moment where Gertrude Stein tells him, well, it's obvious that the character's wife is cheating on him or girlfriend is cheating on him or whatever. And it's kind of this jolting moment where we kind of snap back and Gil quips in return, like it's called denial. And so it like I said, like this could be a metaphor for like Gil sitting in his hotel room at night reading Hemingway, reading F. Scott Fitzgerald, and just kind of
keeps going out
daydreaming. Like
with Michael Sheen, which
yeah, he's great in this, by the way, too.
I like him too. It's a great cast.
I get like the story, the casting, and everything, but it also really does feel like a love letter to Paris.
Oh, absolutely.
And at the same time, it gets across this idea that really anything magical can happen there as well.
It does seem like a magical place. It really does. And the fact that you kind of just buy into this time travel,
Yeah.
but it's so well done. And like I said, it's just so enchanting of just that time period and the fact that what if you did meet these people, especially for a writer.
Yeah.
But then also look at the city you're in and what could go wrong. Like why and I think that's the real appeal to this film. Is the acting, cast, and everything is great. I think it's a pretty interesting story, just kind of taking the place of from a writer's mind, but the location plays such a huge part to this, and you really just buy into it. You really are just kind of absorbed into, I think, what you would imagine Paris to be. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of just in this dream, in this kind of dream reality. And that's and you're kind of willing to accept whatever story takes place inside it.
Yeah. I can also count the number of movie soundtracks that I actually listen to on one hand. But this is one of them. I think the music choices in this perfectly accentuate the era that the movie is set in, but also kind of the vibes of the city. Like we talk about
the vibes,
like the golden age and our quest to achieve it in the modern era, to get back to that, and how we view the past, the golden tint of the film and the music from this era, it all ties together. And so,
well, just how lively things become, right? Because even when he goes back to get his manuscript and comes back, and I think it's like a dry clean or something, like there's this liveliness I think when he feels most alive is when the scenes come alive, and it also involves, again, some of these, classic heavyweight writers. But there's something very much to that again is just very charming and appealing.
I think Michael Sheen's character, Paul, is one of my favorites in this film for a couple of reasons. One, he's charismatic in it. I love he is such a fucking prick.
Yeah.
In this
he
movie.
certainly can be.
Gil calls him a pseudo-intellectual from the jump. And we kind of get that impression that he knows it all. But the way he plays it with his hand gestures and his his mannerisms where he's like, yeah, if I do recall correctly, this is, and then he just
Well, and there's that
spouts
tour
off
in that museum, and they get that
Mm-hmm.
private, and like Rachel McAdams' character berates Gil.
Yeah,
And Michael Sheen says nothing. Like the way he says it, even though there's real thought behind what Gil is saying, he's not taken seriously at all. And you're like, it's that dynamic of it all. And he's also this writer who's obviously got self-doubt. So when he is revisiting this era and he comes back, it's like no one's paying attention and no one cares.
Yeah.
Even though he's got the real intel
yeah.
on the stuff.
I also think it's a really smart character, the way that it's written, because the way that he's juxtaposed with Owen Wilson's Gil is like, Gil is the guy that is just, he's creative. He has this novel in him. He wants to get it out, but there is that doubt, like you said. But in a way, Paul kind of represents the institution. It's like, we're the intellectuals. We're the people that are doing this. The whole reason he's in Paris is because he's been asked to lecture on something at some university. So it does kind of put the two against one another, and you can kind of see like, oh yeah, the institution against the guy that's just trying to get a foot in the door and make it. I thought that was a pretty neat thing about this too.
I agree. And I think it says a lot as far as Rachel McAdams' character and what she's drawn to and where her family comes from and just how opposite Gil is really to everything that's happening there. And I think he's finding his true people in these people who are dead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many times I've taken a sip of wine and said, slightly more tannic. Which is a line from Paul, which also, if I'm not mistaken, the line goes, alcohol fuels the desire but kills the drive, or something like that.
Yeah.
And Gil just says in reply, speak for yourself.
Yes.
I thought was a great line.
I think the one thing that this film gets right more than anything else is just being there, the place, and that environment and that energy that comes with it, because there's such a difference when it's before midnight and after, which I know surely has to be intentional.
Sure.
But it's such a difference, and it ends up kind of being the difference that kind of wakes Gil up in the end.
Yeah. There's a quote, Inez says at one point, he's not actually sure he can write a novel. And I think that kind of touches, it really cuts at the core of one of the other themes of this film, one of the other messages. It's the tussle between what we want and what we're actually good at, because it's something that Gil is striving to do something different that he wants to do. He clearly has passion. He cares about it. Just doesn't have that sense of confidence about it. And the alternative to that is to just keep writing scripts that you can tell.
Right. He's not taking that much pride in, but it's paying the bills.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a relatability in that, because for me personally, I think about like, yeah, man, I would love to be writing full time, but it's not paying the bills. So I have to do something that I'm good at.
It's kind of the day job. And
so it's there's a lot in this film about that speaks to what it means to be an artist in modern times.
Yes.
Where it's not easy. It's difficult for one just to put yourself out there with something that you've poured over, you've put your heart and soul into, and the thought
and
of
then be able to
getting it
share
critiqued.
that with anybody.
Yeah.
On top of that. Very much so.
We talked about the cast a little bit, and I want to mention Corey Stoll as Hemingway. I think he's one of my favorite parts in this.
He's got some good scenes.
The way he plays it, but I think it's also a really nice nod to his work, because if you've read a lot of Hemingway, and this is why some people can't stomach to read him, it's like you might read a paragraph of Hemingway's work, and it's all one sentence.
Oh yeah.
And if you catch Corey Stoll in this movie playing it this way, the way he talks to Gil sometimes is like
the way he writes.
It's a monologue of text and information, and it's and this and that and this and that, and it's all one statement. I thought it was a really nice touch to kind of give a little historical accuracy to the guy as well.
I agree. And one of the best scenes, I think, in the entire film, and I'm not going to get this exactly right, but is if basically about Gil becoming the best writer, but if he's not the best writer, he'll kill him. Like, basically, he
says, I'm not going to critique your book. He's like,
yes,
my opinion
jealousy.
is that I hate it.
That's right.
And he said, if it's bad writing, I'll hate it.
Yeah.
If it's good writing, I'll be jealous that I didn't do it.
Right. And then when he says, but if you're the best writer, that's not because I'm still here.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And I've thought that kind of encapsulates.
There we go.
The writer's mindset, or at least the mindset that you should have when pursuing this.
So we talked a little bit about Owen Wilson, Michael Sheen, Corey Stoll, but this is also a cast that has Adrian Brody as Salvador Dali, Tom Hiddleston as F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston.
Marion Cotillard, did I say that pronounced correctly?
Yeah.
Adriana, the fictionalized mistress of Picasso. And then, of course, Rachel McAdams as Inez. What else about this cast? Who else in this cast stood out to you?
Well, the one person that's not mentioned, which I kind of like because it's actually mentioned kind of at the beginning when he first kind of realizes he's going through his visit, is that Miss Fitzgerald.
Oh, yeah. Allison Pill.
Yeah, I liked her in it. But Tom Hiddleston, I kind of forgot he was in it. But I liked him even though...
Very charismatic.
I think the Hemingway was still, that's kind of more memorable. And Cotillard, who... Cotillard, I think is maybe... But she kind of really becomes his love interest and showing him a way of a different life that ends up bringing him to this kind of aha moment. I think it's a great cast. I mean, he's got a lot of obviously very A-list actors, some Academy Award winners in there. But I thought everybody played their part really well, no matter how big or small. I think they there's the essence of these people.
Yeah.
And I think it's captured really well.
So this did actually win an Oscar.
I think Woody Allen won.
Yeah, Woody Allen won for Best Original Screenplay.
Yep. And I bet it was nominated for Best Picture.
Best Director.
But I don't know if did anybody get nominated for acting?
No.
That's what's crazy.
It got an art direction nomination, Best Director, Best Picture, and then Best Original Screenplay.
But I guess because
won.
it's such an ensemble, and I guess if you look at it, it's probably tough to try and pick out who would get that nod of everybody.
Shit. This movie won a Grammy. Best compilation soundtrack for visual media.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, so
good for the success of Woody Allen.
Well,
but yeah, I do think this is one of his better ones. I have come to appreciate it more than kind of like my instant favorites, which again sometimes kind of lean more towards the thrillers than like I remember Small Time Crooks and Hollywood Endings and the whatever that scorpion was, but. I don't know what kind of film this would be. And obviously, listen, it is what it is. Woody Allen's writing and stuff has always been a showcase for every film. I think the fact that he's not in it probably helps kind of separate it, like you were talking about. Yeah. But the focus in this location, the locale, is a huge deal, which is why it's called Midnight in Paris anyway. He is wanting audiences to fall in love with this place, and whether and maybe he's even lived there. I think he has some connection to Paris, and it makes sense. But also, I think when you write a character, I can't think of a more pitch perfect profession than being a writer and walking through the streets of Paris.
Yeah,
I think that's a huge. Not only what makes it so attractive, but also what makes, I think, the story work for an hour and 40 minutes.
So the last note that I have before we can get out of here is that not only do I think that this film is, an accurate reflection of the struggle of an artist between reality and the dream.
Yeah, and the aspirations of a writer, sure.
I think it shows the difficulty and the troubles you can face if you are naive in a relationship.
Oh yeah. I think it
Sticking
really
with the person that you're not right for.
Yeah. And I do like kind of the connection that's made between the professional and personal that still kind of intercepts in just how you're going to live your life, how you're perceived, and kind of the honesty of who you are, who you're with, and the life that you see yourself living. And it's not always what you think.
Yeah.
It's not always maybe as successful or as rich as you think, but maybe it is also when, that's what makes you happiest.
I would also say this film is just an appreciation for a damn good night out with your friends.
Yes.
Just getting tore up from the floor up.
Yeah, that and Superbad.
And almost jumping in a river.
Almost. But damn it, they had fun back then, didn't they?
That's right.
My
that's
God,
right.
did they enjoy it.
That's all I've got for Midnight in Paris. Brandon, you got any parting thoughts you want to get out?
I was happy to revisit it before we did this because, again, I don't think I've seen it since probably when it came out in theaters. So
yeah.
It's happy to revisit it. And again, it is enchanting. It's charming. I know there's going to be controversy no matter what happens when Woody Allen's name's on it at this stage. But I will say, for everything involved and the people in it and everything, like you said, it deals with creativity and self-doubt and writing. But honestly, if anything, it makes you fall in love with Paris, even if Paris may not fall in love with you.
Well said. That's going to do it for this episode of Movie Review Rewind. As usual, you can check out all of our work at NashvilleMovieDispatch.substack.com. He's Brandon, I'm Stoney, and until next time, you stay classy, moviegoers.